Welcome.
Hello and welcome to OzLoL Podcast, episode 67. Sorry, Scott's got his head like somewhere the wrong way. This is episode 67. Thanks for joining us, everybody. My name's Carrick Colossus. I am host of the show, and we've got lots to talk about this week. We've got stuff to do with changes on the PBE. We're going to be talking the merch store. We're going to be talking Rek'Sai, the new champion that has been unveiled. And we've got the mailbag as well. So, and I've got two fantastic gentlemen to help me out. One with his head on straight, one without. We've got Stephen Garstone, aka Clerical Error. And we've got Scott Ranconius Rankin.
What's up, guys? Now that my head's back in the right place.
So if you're wondering...
It's an actual question. What's up? Because you can't get its orientation right.
Yeah. He's actually in some sort of room where it's tilting, and actually, I've just started playing like third-person action games the last couple of weeks, and I'm finding myself doing the whole like kid thing where you're like leaning to one side when you're trying to dodge somebody. It's I'm like, wow, it takes me back to the Mario Kart days, the original Mario Kart days when I used to. Yeah. Anyway, if you're wondering what the hell's going on, you should join us on twitch.tv/TForce Podcast on Mondays from around 8 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time.
Where you can see me up to my antics sideways.
Yes,
and
that's it. And join us. We have excellent discussion in the Twitch chat as well. So it's really good fun. You should join us. If you can't join us live, you can join us on the VOD, which is on youtube.com/TForce Podcast. You can also find the VODs there for Oceanic Battle Arena, which is Thursdays from 7 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time. And if you are bronze to gold, you can join us for those. So make sure you join the OzLoL chat, client chat room. And yeah, just make sure you check out our website, ozlol.trinityforcepodcast.com. We've got all our previous episodes there. And I should actually make mention that as of this week, we should be having more regularly sort of Thursday or Friday releases of the podcast rather than like Mondays and Tuesdays and stuff. So yes, we've had some production issues, but now it should all be sorted out. So we should be back on a regular schedule. Now next week, I actually forgot to mention this to the other guys. So they're going to go, "What the hell's going on?"
what the hell's going on?
Well, that's a good question. Next week, I'm actually in holidays, so I don't know what we're going to do with the stream. We might just be. I need to talk to you guys afterwards, but we might just be recording. Just recording the show rather than doing a stream show because I'll be in holidays in Melbourne.
No.
Though it does give you the opportunity to hang out with Scott because he's in Melbourne. I'm going to be in Melbourne.
You're going to be in Melbourne.
I'm going to be in Melbourne. So
that was definitely the appropriate reaction.
Yeah, that was pretty excited. That's probably more excited than I am for going to Melbourne.
Not you didn't underplay it at all. Well done.
Yeah. So
you know what? I quit for this week. I'm sorry.
He's out. He's done. We've had the classic Adam Cogswell ponophobia rage quit.
I don't know. There wasn't like an amazing pun and then a dummy.
Yeah, it's true. That is true. He stopped doing that, which is disappointing because they've had some good ones. So anyway, maybe if you want to hang out, hit me up on Twitter and we'll hang out in Melbourne. That'd be cool. Anyway, we'll just follow us on Twitter. That's usually where most of the stuff's communicated. So twitter.com/OzLoPodcast. That's our Twitter. All right. Anyway, let's get into some other stuff. So into some real news. So something that we actually missed, which came out a couple of weeks ago, but we missed because of all the patch 420 stuff. Rek'Sai the Burrower, the latest champion, has been announced by Riot. She is a Void jungler.
She.
It is a she, even though she isn't really. Well, it's really obvious because all she does is scream. She doesn't actually talk. And if you listen to the audio file, because sometimes they have just like the audio file as like a YouTube video, it's just the audio from the champion, it's just nothing but like 5 minutes of just really weird screams. So, so brand new jungler. She uses Fury, so she's basically a cooldown only champion. Have you guys seen her? What do you think? I think she should be interesting.
Well, the first thing I want to point out is they put out this preview a while ago, so most people have had a chance to have a look at it, but I actually found it quite difficult to kind of get the grasp of how her abilities work, even with the video, but like creating, like, the ability to to turn into tunnel mode and to create tunnels and re-enter them and what happens with that. That was all a bit confusing. I actually needed Carrot to clarify some of these things.
Yeah. Well, you might as well, I might as well make mention of what that is.
It. What was that?
I might as well right now to say what these actually abilities are. So her main
Yeah.
thing, as her name suggests, the Void Burrower, is she goes underground, right?
Wait. Whoa, she does what she says?
I know. She does what it says on the tin.
Well, to be fair, Timo does not scout ahead.
It's true.
He does not.
That's because he's a colossal douchebag.
Okay, no. He's not a colossal douchebag. He is the Rift Scuttler Scouter.
Okay. So her main ability, her W, allows her to go underground, and then her E allows her to create tunnels. So basically, 2 points, by which if she walks up to them, clicks them, she immediately tunnels between them. It looks like it does go between, through terrain, and it actually, it's one of those things, sometimes with jumps and dashes and stuff, if you don't, if the terrain's actually too big for it, you sometimes can go all the way through it. In this case, basically, even the big chunky bits of terrain around the bottom lane, you actually can send a tunnel all the way through them. So it's quite interesting, the angles at which she can get into position. But essentially, once she's burrowed, she can create a tunnel, and then at any point she can keep going to these, and they're permanent, pretty much. I think she can have up to 10 sets of tunnels.
My question is, and I don't see it answered anywhere here in the preview thing, is
there is no notes at all on anything about this tunnel, and we don't have caps on tunnels. We don't have whether they're destroyable or not.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, if you get a surrender at 20, the PB
they look destroyable. They've got a health bar when you look at the video. But my question is can an ally take an existing tunnel?
What do you mean? Can they use the tunnel?
Can Lucian walk up, click on the tunnel, and come out the other side?
No.
Okay.
That would be broken as all hell.
Thresh lantern.
Yeah. No, well, it'd be even worse because there'd be bunches, whole heap of them around the map.
They lost.
So, yeah.
Okay, so here we go. Apparently, according to Tash Plays Games from the Twitch chat, destroyable by standing on them, not by auto-attacking, by the sounds of things. They last 10 minutes. Allies cannot use tunnels.
There we go.
And, yeah, there you go. But my question is, as with Drake, is Rek'Sai able to use another Rek'Sai's tunnels?
Yes, I think they can, actually. Maybe, because if they're destroyed by walking on, then what would take precedence? If a Rek'Sai walks onto another Rek'Sai's tunnels, does he destroy it or does he take it? I'm pretty sure that he would destroy it.
I actually think that's been asked on Reddit or something, and I'm pretty sure there's actually a Q&A. Riot have done a Q&A since it came out. So you probably tracked that down on the Riot website. I'm pretty sure, if I recall correctly. Oh no, somebody's saying in chat you can't use it. I thought you could. So there you go. There's a correction in chat. Thank you, chat.
Because we didn't do the research.
Oh no, well you didn't do the I provided everything you need to know. You didn't do the research, my friend.
That's right.
Yeah.
This is all on me, guys.
It is. So that's her W is her burrow. It's also worth mentioning that when she pops out. So when she burrowed, she can actually see see the movement of any champion around them. So you can actually use it to sort of scout out. So she loses all her vision, but gains tremor sense, which basically they come out like the old blips on the alien thing, in the aliens with the tracker they have. There's essentially, rather than seeing a champion, you see little blips as they walk along the map. In the fog of war.
Okay.
Ignores.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so they're like little circles that come out, look kind of like ripples.
Yep.
Basically, that's probably the best way to describe them.
Yeah, and then when she unburrows, she pops up and knocks people up and deals damage and stuff. So, that's a W. Her Q is essentially the next. She gets 3 auto attack bonuses to her next 3 auto attacks when she's unburrowed. And then when she's burrowed, it actually shoots out a slowing skill shot. So that's pretty cool. The range on it's actually pretty decent as well. So, sorry, I keep burping. It's bad. So it looks pretty good. And then, when she's unburrowed, when she uses her E, it actually she bites, her target deals damage based on her fury, or true damage if she has full fury, which I find very interesting because it's only on like a 4-second cooldown, or something crazy like stupid like that. So it's quite possible you could do a lot of damage with Rek'Sai in that regard. Yeah, and then her ultimate is essentially a global ult. She actually goes to one of her tunnels from anywhere on the map, and she lets out a big scream that you can hear across the map. So, yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Oh god, no, Scion 2.0. Oh, no.
See,
that's actually more like Nocturne, really. But anyway,
yeah, Nocturne.
God, no.
It's so cool.
I feel like we should just totally bipolar Ranconius right now, and he's like, oh no, he's devastated, and then just say, but Carrot's coming to Melbourne, and then just wait.
Carrot's coming
to
Melbourne! Oh, Rek'Sai's getting really... Carrot's coming to Melbourne!
So,
I'm so emotionally drained right now.
Furious bites on a 12-second cooldown. So her bite deals between 80 and 100% AD physical damage, increasing by up to 100% at maximum fury, and that's true damage. So basically, rank 5, that's 240% AD, true damage. And I mean, 12 seconds is not that long. Like you think, especially when you start adding CDR, that's gonna be pretty darn respectable by the time you get to the late game. So it's very nasty.
So a few quick comments as far as I can tell so far. I believe she's supposed to be a tanky initiator. I really don't think that she's going to be an assassin or anything, which is nice. I think if she had really, really high ratios and was an assassin with this sort of kit, she would be OP, as all hell. You just can't have somebody that does this sort of thing with Zed's sort of damage. That's just... So I really like the fact that she's going to be a tanky initiator. I really like the fact that she's going to be a tanky initiator, and then her ultimate's going to give attack speed. So she's going to be a really, the split push. That's what they're really aiming for with this theme. It's just like, oh look, we're going to add another Shen to the game, but she's going to do it better.
Yeah, I guess that's actually a good point. I mean, because her ultimate moves pretty quickly, but it's not instantaneous. So
it's
probably
seconds from corner to corner.
Yeah. So I guess it's probably a little bit like Shen. It's worth mentioning when she's burrowed, she can't actually attack, and she can herself be attacked. So it's not like she invisibly moves. It's actually like a land shark. Like she's basically got her fin sticking out, so you can see her and stuff.
Oh, I really want to see her use her ability, not have vision on a certain area, and Karthus is just running Defile, and she goes straight through it and dies. I want to see that.
That'd be funny.
That'd be brilliant.
She's sitting in a Nivea ult without knowing it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that would be...
or Brand throws out his full combo at this one dude and just comes along and just gets pwned by it all.
It's almost like... It's like, at least with a sign... It's sort of in some ways like a sign, or sign just uncontrollably does stupid things, But this is you can't see what's... Uncontrollable... You can't controllably respond to what's going on, But yeah, I mean, I guess, I suppose you'd still see the minimap. So if you know that people are around, and you can see the move. Anyway, I think it's interesting. It'll be interesting to see how she plays out. I think her damage is not astounding.
She has true damage, so she can't be.
Yeah. It will not.
Damage.
Yeah, she won't need it with true damage. That's something that's kind of.
Well, yeah, but she only gets true damage at 100% fury.
Yeah, that's fine.
But still.
If you're.
And she consumes fury when she when she burrows.
Yeah. Oh, that is true. It consumes her fury and heals her when she burrows.
Yeah.
Wonder if it still consumes it if she's full. There's so many questions I have. But yeah, that's pretty big because you can't. That means because you said earlier that she was going to be intended as a jungler. Now, if she burrows in to start the initiate of the coming out through one of her tunnels or whatever, then she's going to lose all that fury and she's not going to get that true damage. How fast is she going to be able to rebuild it? There's a lot of numbers.
Well, I mean,
I'd actually like to see gameplay footage.
Yeah. I mean, her numbers, when she unburrows, she actually gets an additional 15 fury on her the next attack. Oh, so, it's not like she has to start. Well, when she comes out, she's going to get a bit more. But yeah, I mean, it's really. And I mean, like it's a bit like like she generates it pretty quickly once she's actually in combat. But it's again a bit like like it's not like at the start of the fight unless you time it perfectly. He's going to be able to jump in Mega Gnar form. It's sort of part way through an extended trade, then she'll be able to do all this damage.
Yeah, this character's not particularly going to be able to build up rage as reliably as Gnar, though, because Gnar has ranged attacks that allow him to
it's true.
Build up his rage, whereas Rek'Sai is going to have to really be up in your face in order to get the kind of rage required to have a kind of impact. I'll have to see how Rek'Sai gets played in the hands of a skilled champion, or even just
a skilled champion.
A skilled player.
In the hands of a skilled champion. I like
skilled
this.
Summoner.
Yep. All right, well, let's move on.
Skills are inferior.
She has an Eternum skin as well, which is just awesome. Even though it's still another 5 minutes of just slightly metallically tinged screaming, but still, it's cool. All right, so next thing worth mentioning is the merch store. So this is I find this really exciting. So if you weren't aware, they have had a merch team for quite a while. They've been finally working towards getting something happening with that. Finally announced, there's the beta of the merch store. It's out. If you go, it's oc.merch.riotgames.com. And they have quite a few items. They've got t-shirts, they've got plushie stuff, they've got posters. Have you guys actually seen the merch store yet? I noticed that a Teemo hat is a very affordable $23. So if you didn't already have one, Steve, you could have bought one.
Now that I've gotten my hands on this incredibly rare and difficult to get a hold of thing, now it is freely available to anyone with money. You know? So way to devalue me, thanks. No, anyone out there who wants a Teemo hat should be allowed to have a Teemo hat. That's my opinion.
There's no Rammus hats on the store yet, though. So if they haven't quite done that. They have got a Rammus Poro.
Calm down. There is a better version, and Carrot will be picking one up, I'm sure, at some stage after his amazing victory in the MoPro stream with Corki. He needs a Corki
Yes, that's true. There is the Corki hat, which is pretty good. So.
Yeah. I'm like flipping out and going.
there's a shirt in there. I've been wanting this shirt for ages, but it didn't exist. I mean, I could have had it done up with just whatever, a custom job, but that's the symbol that Twitch has when you've got poison stacks on someone. That symbol that pops up. That's kind of like a skull and crossbones crossed with a radiation symbol crossed with with a rat face, and I'm like, that is cool. I want that. They've released something like that. It's the symbol, but it's black on green rather than like the really bright radioactive looking fluoro green that it is in game on a black shirt. And that's the one that I wanted. But I'm glad that they made the shirt that they have, and I'll probably still end up getting it. But it wasn't the particular design that I wanted. The Pentakill shirt looks pretty cool. That's a lot closer to the one I was talking about.
Yeah, I mean,
there's a Cogmore shirt, guys.
Yeah, it is a Cogmore shirt. And I mean, the shirt prices are not too bad. I mean, where it really gets pricey is the hoodies. So the shirts are about $30, which is all right. I mean, my issue is I'm a really fat nerd, so getting when they have like 2XL, I kind of go, is that really going to fit me? But it looks like they've got it seems they've gone for quality over like cheapness. If I ever managed to fit in one, it will at least be good quality. But the hoodies, so this is pricey. So a Thresh glow-in-the-dark hoodie is $96. And they've got a Demacia hoodie that's also $96. And then they've got just a straight League of Legends and a World track jacket is $73.
Say that again. Say that again. What was the name of that faction?
Demacia.
Demacia.
Whatever. Screw you guys.
I think you're actually both technically pronouncing it wrong. It's Demacia!
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's
that is true.
The correct pronunciation.
Along with the pronunciation of Akali or Akali.
Akali.
Yeah. So I mean, that's like probably a hoodie is what I wanted more than anything, just because they just just hoodies are much more comfortable to wear around and stuff. You can bum around the house in them. So I just kind of a bit disappointed that it's all so expensive on that end of things. Where the posters are not too bad. I think they're about $20-something. You got the
17.
Yeah, 17. You got the Chibi figures, which are about, I think they're about $30, and they're quite a decent size. So
I quite like they've got they released a whole bunch of, I called them like iPhone wallpapers. But like, you know, it was like the Versus series, like Leona versus Diana.
Yeah.
Miss
Oh
Fortune
my
versus
god,
Gameplay.
yeah.
So those pictures that came out about a year and a half ago, I think it was probably about that long. They've released those as posters, like high def, and I'm like, oh yeah, get me a Darius Draven one, you know, get me like, yeah. So I'm very psyched.
Except okay, so they got a Diana Leona one. Except Leona's back is entirely turned to the position of the viewers. It's like, damn, I can't even have my favorite champion like in the.
Oh my god.
frame.
Oh,
So, yeah.
I am so buying my fiance a Jinx versus Vi for Christmas, or the blue buff versus Vi. I don't know. There's so much. Anyway, but like,
anyway, yeah.
oh, I'm so keen
you know,
because
Blue Buff will win that fight.
the new blue buff will.
Oh, yeah.
But still, like, I'm so keen because this sort of stuff makes me really, really excited. When we picked up from, I'm gonna say from Gold Coast Supernova, I'm pretty sure it was. We picked up the Ari versus Morgana one. That's really been the highlight of like the last 12 months. I think that one come out. We picked that up, and like as soon as we got it, Jess, who is my fiance, turned to me and just said, "I know how much you love League. We're getting this framed." You know, so this is really opening up the League, especially in. I think this is going to be really important to Australia because you know you're now going to be able to walk into people's houses and have something like this up framed.
Yeah.
You know that they're a gamer,
Yeah.
and bringing it into your home and bringing somebody else into your home and showing them this sort of stuff, it makes it kind of more acceptable. So I think this is also along the fair path to actually expanding culture of gaming to the acceptable audience in Australia as well. So I'm really keen to see how this flows out over the next 12, 18 months sort of thing.
Yeah. I mean, two things I want to add to that. So, firstly, they've got a poster of Cho'Gath, and Cho'Gath looks more like Diablo than he actually looks like Cho'Gath, which is amazing, because that means hopefully that's what he'll look like, you know, when they redo him. Secondly, what really impresses me is they've made a real effort to have a global store. So they've actually, you know, essentially they've got stores in every region, which I think is really good, because it would have been very easy for them to just do North America and maybe EU West and just kind of ignore everybody else, but they've actually rolled out all the same stock across the entirety of the world. I think the only people who didn't get something was there was something held up in customs for EU West, so it wasn't available, but they basically said it will be available next week. It's just in customs. So I think that's really impressive.
Yeah. It's like, I love that, not just because Australia always seems to be excluded from like a ton of these things, not league related necessarily, but you know, like, oh yes, we've got this amazing release that's not shipped to Australia.
Yeah.
You know, that sort of situation. So
Amazon, Amazon. Sorry.
Not to name any names.
Yeah, not to name any names.
No, I'm really psyched for it, and I do encourage people to go out there and throw their money at this, because they're going to get something that they want, and the more money you throw at this, the more stuff and more range they're going to get.
Yep.
And yeah.
I mean, I imagine eventually they're going to have some stuff where all those gifts of the Death Star destroying your wallet are going to be perfectly applicable. Because
See this? See this, right, OCD?
Yeah.
This is what you do to me. This right here. And for those people who are listening to the podcast,
then empty your wallet.
yeah, it's the sound of an
It's
empty
not even
wallet.
Steam
That is-
sales yet. It's not even Steam sales yet.
Forget Steam sales. This is League of Legends, man.
All right, well, let's move on.
Excellent point.
No, seriously, don't knock Steam sales. They're the best. Actually, I think I've bought everything I want to buy, so I won't be buying anything this Christmas. But yeah, anyway, we've had the first week of the Open. So last week we talked about the new format for the professional scene, the competitive scene going into 2015. One element was the Open ladder, which is essentially open to anybody to run a team and could participate in. You've got Oceanic Gaming, OC Weekly, and the Cyber Game Open events. And we've already had a week of games, so the Oceanic, and ACL Open as well. So ACL Open played they're playing tomorrow night. So Oceanic Gaming and OC Weekly both had games on the weekend. So we've actually had some results, and sitting on top of the ladder is a shared first place for Team Fortnite and Daisy Parade, which I've heard of. I know Team Fortnite's been around. I think Daisy Parade used to be a thing as well, wasn't it? Like it was.
So Team Fortnite, how they started out, that was originally, if you think back, when Dulce had a team and was salting Winter, when he was trying to break into that, that's when Fortnite came to him, and he was with Fortnite for a little while. and then he fell away and formed up Villains, and then formed up came back, and this is Carlos's god, Chili Philly, who used to be on Noxious Gaming. I think I'm pretty sure like it's mostly the old Noxious Gaming squad. So
Yeah, okay.
Daisy Parade's fairly new. End Zone, I'm going to say had some really big names in it, but I can't exactly remember who they are. But there was some huge names in that squad. Back to the Future was a team formed by
Which is probably by far the best pun-related name in this whole list. So
Absolutely.
they could go on the list of Wobbly Bears, and wasn't there a pirate one we was really blessed with? Anyway.
Yes. And I love Back to the Future, so they automatically
But
get points. There.
Important thing to point out here, equal 8th place. Equal 8th place. NV aren't even anywhere near the top of this list, right? So they have such a huge way to climb.
Except it could just be NV as opposed to Team NV. Because I'm pretty sure if you look at the fives teams they had, it was actually Team NV. Because, I mean, basically anybody can...
This is the right squad. No,
it's actually NV. It's not just like some joke squad.
No. It's. I'm pretty sure because Destiny and things were on this squad. So.
Okay. Wow, that is not great then.
Yeah, no, they've got a long way. Because even so, Team NV would have to like if this isn't NV, if this is like the actual funny, not proper NV squad, then that's even worse for Team NV. So.
Yeah. Because I mean, you get like who have we got in? There's a few teams that have like pinched each other's name, like pinched names from like Against All Odds. Like that's a European squad. That's clearly not like the actual Against All Odds. It's just somebody who thought, hey, wouldn't it be funny to enter our? I'm not surprised there's not like a TSM or something in here, like a Team Solo Mid or.
There probably is. They didn't qualify.
Yeah, maybe they did. Like Team Solo India, like so. Yeah, so there's a kaboom in here. So that way people just pick the names. There's no Centrelink Gaming, which is incredibly disappointing. So whoever's in charge of that name, you have done a disservice to this community by not.
There were actually, can we point it out for like the Riot competition last year to decide that Team Immunity won, that's now Chiefs, to go to the wildcards? There were 5 Centrelink Gamings.
Yeah, I know. I know. It's great.
Really
it's
dropped the ball.
It's a really integral part of the Oceanic.
Maybe government funding dried up for them. Who knows?
Yeah. I mean, maybe they actually got jobs and no longer could be Centrelink Gaming.
Yeah.
Whereas, I'm founding Centrelink Gaming starting right now. I'm still unemployed. Centrelink Gaming.
So anyway, it's just novel. I mean, from this they get into the Challenger circuit and then move on through. So I mean, there is for the top few teams, there is a real chance to do something somewhere down the line. All right, well, let's get into some other stuff. So we wanted to talk about... So we've had the first batch of actual professional games at the top tier level. IM was held on the weekend. It's probably the first event we've had on this new preseason patch. Steve, you wanted to go into that because we've had some interesting stuff in terms of the jungle. And even though you were well.
Oh, seriously. I have a lot of experience around Unicorns of Love. I was casting them a lot and really got to know those guys.
How many unicorns have you met?
A lot of unicorns.
A lot, that's right. But you've never caught one.
And they were all lovely. So, but no, the actual Unicorns of Love squad, I got to cast a lot of them during the European Go for LOL when I was working with ESL. And they are an absolutely fantastic team. They love catering to their fans. These guys have got the right attitude about it. And let's go over the results, and then we can introduce what that point leads into.
So what he's referring to, spoilers, if you haven't paid attention, you should know it anyway. It's all over the internet.
Oh my god.
Unicorns of Love beat TSM 2-0 in a best of 3, which is just... and genuinely outplayed them, which was impressive. I think... Didn't Bjergsen had, some terrible game? He just got, absolutely stomped or something?
Well, it's interesting that you should bring up Bjergsen, because I believe that this particular drafting of Unicorns of Love's team is the reason that Bjergsen did so horribly in this particular game. Now, I'm drawing it on to add suspense. I think it's working. No, but their third pick on Unicorns of Love was Twisted Fate. So Bjergsen has naturally picked himself a Xerath. He can deal with Twisted Fate. That's not a problem. But then they lock in a LeBlanc afterwards, and everybody is going, what the hell is going on? And if you recall my conversation a few weeks ago, I was saying that the new meta could be dictated by who performs best in the jungle and what works and what doesn't and what the rest of the team needs. Well, Twisted Fate was used in the jungle, and he did extremely well. Like, I've been trying a couple of different, Skarner, Elise, I've been trying a couple of different, we've seen a few Warwick, a lot of different junglers. Twisted Fate...
A few Warwicks? We've seen a few Warwicks.
Just a few.
No, like, yeah, okay, fair enough. Warwick is ridiculously overpowered right now. On hit is ridiculous. And that's why we see a Twisted Fate in this game. Twisted Fate, he gets his E at level 1, which is unheard of for a Twisted Fate in the game. Like, let's use the one ability that you can't, do anything with. It's just every 4 hits I do something. Starts at what used to be the mini golems, the Grumps. Am I remembering that name correctly?
Krugs.
The Krugs, whatever the hell they're called. Yeah. Which gives on every 5th auto attack.
First and fifth.
Yeah, so there you go. So and you run like a ton of attack speed runes, and then you move from that up to the buff, and you stay just outside its aggro range, lay down enough auto attacks that it stays in auto range, you damage it before it completely resets, and you come out of the jungle with higher health than most of the tanky, sustained junglers that are on the scene at the moment.
Yeah.
You get level 2, well, in this particular game, you get level 2, you roam mid, you flash stun Bjergsen. These are your instructions. Assuming you find yourself up in a game against Bjergsen. Flash in, gold card, and that's just instant first blood. And
stupid. I can't believe it. Anyway.
And it's incredibly successful. It's not like, oh, well, we're against TSM, we're going to lose, we might as well troll and pick Twisted Fate jungle. No, this was very well practiced.
Yeah.
And obviously scouted, like, if you watch the minimap and if you actually watch the camera when it's on Twisted Fate when he's doing the jungle camps, specifically the buffs, he's, like, repositioning himself perfectly within auto attack range, within reset range, and he's just kiting it, essentially, is what he's doing, and he's moving in a very specific pattern. It was beautiful, and they executed it perfectly. They went Trailblazer, which seems to be just absolutely like the best way to go. That's the one that does splash damage, and you heal if you smite a big minion.
And it stuns all of them when you smite it too, doesn't it?
That's right. Yeah, it stuns them for 1.5 seconds. That's the Ranger's Trailblazer smite. Yeah. And then you build that into Devourer, which is the attack speed one. 50% increased attack speed, and your auto attacks deal 40 plus whatever stacks you've got. Kills and assists.
Just one question before we go any further. Did he build a Runan's Hurricane at any stage?
No, he built a Wit's End, which is even more shocking.
Why would you
actually
build
that doesn't...
Runan's Hurricane into a Wit's End? Because Wit's End's passive would stack up on the Runan's Hurricane, as well as the E stacking, plus you get the Devourer across all 3 hits.
There's only so much gold that you get out of the jungle.
I mean, yes, obviously, but...
The Wit's End was quite peculiar. I guess it's another on-hit effect.
It's because his stack deck, his E deals magic damage.
Yeah.
On that 4th auto. So, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, but after that, he builds just a Banshee's Veil, and then the game's over, pretty much. Because you need some survivability, because you're not going to be... Like, you need to be able to stay within auto-attack range while outputting your DPS and not die at the same time. So Banshee's Veil was a very good pickup for it. And it was just executed flawlessly.
Pick? What was Dyrus playing?
Nah versus Rumble, I believe. Yeah, Dyrus was Rumble.
Rumble, yeah, okay. Yeah, that's the only reason he bought Wit's End. If Dyrus isn't on an AP champion, so if he's not on Maokai, Ryze, or Rumble, or Vlad, I really like Vlad at the moment, just... Mm-hmm. But anyway, if he's not on that...
I'll give you that. This preseason stuff is crazy. We can see
I'm going to say he doesn't pick Twisted Fate. That entire pick revolves around the Rumble, the AP pick in the top lane, and if he does run it, he does go Runan's Hurricane. And it's a red side only strat. That is what I'm saying about it.
Yeah. Well, I, for one, did not see Runan's Hurricane, and neither do I advocate it. But I believe that on hit from the jungle is, well, even if when running Smite, is going to be a very viable option this season, where it hasn't been for 2 seasons since the Madrid's Blood Razor has been removed. And I've actually been looking at Teemo going, can he do the same thing that Twisted Fate can?
No, Teemo
Steve, you're the devil for making such a suggestion.
No, he cannot. Jinx can. Jinx can jungle. This works perfectly.
Crazy.
No, it does. Stonewall did this.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying that's crazy.
Stonewall did this around the time that Stonewall made a video on the Doombots about this, and said that the only way to win against the higher level Doombots, or one of the best ways, was obviously the split pushing with high attack speed champions. And this is why he picked it up, and he was just, he was actually just trolling, and then he found it. High attack speed champions can juggle the buffs without taking damage. Jinx,
well, that was
at level
Doombots
2,
was before this patch.
Yes, yeah. So that's what I'm saying. High attack speed champions can take the buff without taking any damage whatsoever. Vayne can do it once she's got enough attack speed going, but early on she can't, which is why a Vayne jungle should not be doing this. Jinx can, but you are basically like a Twisted Fate without a stun. You have to land your stun, but you can apply the red buff first and set it up that way.
Yeah. Well, no, the reason I brought up Teemo is because back when Madrid's Blood Razor was a thing, you'd see Warwick running Blood Razor, you'd see Teemo running Blood Razor, and you'd see, like, it'd show up occasionally on 4th item builds. But on hit, those two were the two that you'd look at. So, and now we're seeing Twisted Fate with it. I think, like, the increased attack speed passive from his E definitely helps. And he's going to be running a ton of attack speed runes. So, whether or not Twisted Fate is going to be like a top tier jungler, I don't believe that's the case.
No,
but the fact that it's an option and it can work, and it's not like considered, well, we're going to put ourselves at a massive disadvantage, but we might be able to make a play out of it or something. Like, as long as it's considered a serious strategy, then not only is drafting going to be so much more chaotic and interesting for this upcoming season, but it also might mean a return of super tanks in the top lane. Or, like, it really does open up a lot of options. And that's really exciting. That's what I'm really keeping my eye on at the moment, is what meta changes are going to come from other champion styles being available in the jungle. Because previously we've seen, we'll see Elise, Lee Sin, we're going to see Jarvan. Jarvan's been seen quite a lot, actually. We're going to see these champions, because they're tough, and they can make it through the jungle, and they can gank in the mid-game and the early game, so they're good. So that's why they've been chosen previously, but if other champions that people haven't even considered can do this, that really does open up possibilities for next season.
I find it kind of hilarious that one of the things that Riot have been saying is, we want to sort of make it so only junglers can jungle. Like, they didn't want to have it, like, you just started season 4, they're like, let's have anybody jungle. Let's, have it right up. And they're like, it didn't work out so well. And they say, like, Jinx and Teemo and Twisted Fate, they're like, it's just funny. That's how it works out. But
well, I think it's the specific combination of the jungle items, the smite, the pathing, and how fast people can attack. I think that combination, like, this has got to be like a huge sample size of people trying stuff in solo queue.
Hang on. Now I want to know who has the highest attack speed at level 1.
At level 1?
Because I'm gonna say it's either Jinx or Twisted Fate with their abilities.
Oh, you mean with their level 1 ability giving them a passive increase?
Well, I'm gonna say without level 1 abilities. So let's find out actually who has it. It's not going to be Jinx, because Jinx has incredibly low attack speed. Value at level 1 is going to be Maokai, Akali, Shaco, Mordekaiser, and Olaf have the highest attack speed at level 1.
Mordekaiser, you say?
Yeah, I'm not kidding. Mordekaiser. Oh god, Steve's gonna joke. Oh no.
I would never do that. Such things.
We're the worst ganks. Like, just so bad. Anyway.
What a ganks.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll see you at level 14, buddy.
Actually,
someone's invading. Dead.
Yeah.
Now I've got 2 people
Jax
to
is
jump
an
with.
interesting one. Hang on, let's find Jax actually in this list and discuss it, because Jax is passive. He starts at 0.638, so the highest attack speed at 0.694 is those champions that we just discussed. But I've lost him again. Jax is actually relatively mid in the pack, so And his passive at level 1 is 4% by 6, up to a maximum of 24%. So Jax, when he stacks his passive up, if you give him attack speed runes, he's going to have the highest attack speed at level 1. So do we see some more Jax jungle coming out of this?
Quite possibly.
And as
like
for Ms. Fish's comments,
he's quite nasty. You can like jump in, stun, and all that sort of stuff. And his late game split pushing transition is just beautiful. The way that people are playing on the pro level, at least they were at the end of the last season, is that they're not split pushing with their junglers. Like they'll split push with an ADC for a bit, but mainly it's just the teleporters that have been split pushing. That's not always true. Like we've had mid Zeds split pushing and stuff on occasion, but I haven't seen a split pushing jungler in quite some time. Oh, actually,
Jax could do it.
Not. Yeah, so could Warwick. Now that I think about it, so.
Jax could run the TP and the smite, and the reason I'm going to say this is because of Leap Strike. Leap Strike and a ward, he's got flash, so he can potentially do it. But yeah, Ms. Fish is making some comments about Olaf, and Olaf has a great clear at level 1 as well. Like, that high attack speed. Now, if I'm going to go back to it, and then I'm interested to see now the value at level 18. So who has the highest? It's Vayne and Ashe. There you go. And then Kennen. And then Timo. Oh, God. Timo's number 4 for highest level 18 attack speed.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's because he's of the devil. It's because he makes a deal with the devil at like level 17. When he gets level 18, he loses his soul. Anybody who plays Timo loses their soul when they get to level 18.
It's achievement unlocked. Soul.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, soul. Like Jimmy Page from Led Zeppelin. All right, do we want to go into the dragon changes? Because you wanted to mention this, Scott, about the changes they made to dragon in the PvE.
So currently sitting on the PvE, we got a little bit of a change. Dragon is now no longer eating through Pantheon's passive, so you can stack it up, and the dragon's going to attack you, and it's not going to block it, and it's not going to eat through your passive. Pantheon's passive has been removed from activating on the dragon. You are
which we should mention if somebody isn't aware of what's going on. Essentially, at the moment, what you can do is if you take Pantheon with lots of attack speed, essentially you get your blue buff, and then at level 2 you're soloing the dragon because you stack up your passive through your auto attacks. The dragon then attacks you, uses the passive, and then you then do your leap strike, or you jump to him, which reactivates the Aegis shield. You take another dragon. So essentially, every time the dragon goes to attack you, you've got your passive up, and you're essentially taking no damage while fighting the dragon. It takes about 50 minutes to take the dragon level 2. Like, it takes forever to do it, but it can be done. And
that's specifically due to stat growth as well.
Yeah.
Dragon is no longer aggro juggleable. Now, me and Rusty, this is where I first picked it up in the MoPro stream. Me and Rusty were doing this with Aurelia and Volibear. We took, I think, about 100 damage over what should have been 6 dragon auto attack. It's because we kept resetting the auto attack. This no longer happens. The auto attack casts, and then it switches around to aggro onto the new target.
But
so
that is still going to be very good for Thresh players because you can shield 2 people and you can just juggle the auto attacks between those 2. Like you attack him, Thresh moves out, that person comes in. You can still mitigate a fair lot of damage, but nowhere near as much as you can currently.
Yeah, well, and also
you can't remove 100%.
Use a Lantern level 1's got like an 18-second cooldown or something stupid, so it's probably
Well, this isn't just level 1 dragon strategy.
Oh, okay, right.
This dragon is always going to do this.
Yes.
Another point to point out on this, which I actually haven't written into our show notes, is dragon auto attacks are no longer dodgeable. You can't niddly leap out of the way from Hokuga form to dodge them. You're going to eat the auto attack. It's going to chase you. It's not a skill shot from the dragon anymore. And then, Steve, we're going to move on to the numbers from the Dragons game.
Yeah, so I actually put them in there. So, what was interesting is they've changed how they like the order at which you get the buff. So currently, level 1's the bonus AD AP. Then currently, it's you get bonus damage to minions and dragons. Level 3 is a move speed. Level 4 is tower damage, and then level 5 is the doubling and the rest of it. So now what it's moving to is you get the level 2 is the damaging the towers and buildings, and level 4 is the damage to minions and monsters. So I'm guessing that's just like a power shift thing. Like, I mean, because really, you'd think that the level 2 stack would be more useful in the early game.
Yeah.
Because you want to do more damage to minions. So obviously it's just too overpowered.
Yeah. Well, it would allow you to get a farm advantage just based on the numbers alone. Like, you know, how many times have we seen even pro players, they'll miss 1 or 2 CS because they were like 4 damage short or whatever.
Yep.
That's with the first 2 dragons, you've got increased ability power and attack damage, and then on top of that, with the second dragon, an additional 15% on top of that. That doesn't quite, you know, it's not like...
Yeah, so essentially it allows you to push to tower a lot easier. Like, in some ways, it's one of those things where if you can push to tower more easily, you can get more tower damage than if you have just a buff on tower damage, if that makes sense. You know, so, and that's a much bigger advantage in the early game. If you can keep pushing into tower, grinding down that tower, that's much more effective than if you can... You have to actually just get to the tower in the first place.
Just on that, I actually wanted to talk about that as well, but I thought, you know, just talking about the jungle viability would be enough. But I really want to talk about this season and towers and how they are basically paper mache.
Yeah.
Like, if you've watched any pro games, like if you watched any of the OGN games, if you watched any of the IEM games, you will see the towers are there, and then like the support Janna will walk under tower and start tanking it. They'll kill the tower, and Janna will be on 3/4 health.
Yeah.
Like, they do so little damage now, and they die so quickly, and there's so many ways to increase the damage that you do to them. Baron buff. You know, like
Baron buff, dragon
buff,
elixirs.
Yeah, so many different
jungle
ways.
buffs,
Like,
so the Krugs, when you smite the Krugs, it gives you extra true damage against the tower.
But it eats up the buffs. You can only do that one
yeah,
time.
but it's still 100 damage straight up. Like, that's not, you know.
Yeah, like armor basically, because armor is now a non-stat against us, like 90% penetration or something like that from the towers. But that just means that, like, they do so much less damage. They do ramp up. It does get pretty big the longer you stay in it. But the towers don't stay up long enough. And if you don't need minion waves, then all you need is a power advantage over the enemy team, and you can just take the objectives. Now, I noticed that several games in the OGN series this last week fight during a siege on an inhibitor turret, and they'd get the kill and win the game because the Nexus turrets were just falling apart. Just they were so brittle, and they were just like, whatever, Thresh, you can tank it. We don't care. You know, like. Was it even in some of the games that we were playing during the week, where we'd have like a Renekton just walking through both of the towers.
Yeah.
He'd just walk around, and then he'd just zone people out in the fountain while the rest of his team just push the towers down. Towers, you cannot really defend towers. Like, if you're in Battle Arena this week, or in weeks in the future from this point on, don't defend the tower. If you feel that they can kill you, they will, and they'll take the tower, and they won't die.
Yeah.
It's not like, you know, oh, they can't tower dive me because they'll die as well, and, you know, I'll trade 1 for 1. That's not a thing anymore.
Yep,
that's very much the case.
I can't believe it. I really, really like the way that they've changed. Can we touch back onto the numbers from the Dragon Slayer buff? Obviously, we did, and then we've gone down a tangent. But
I love my tangents.
I love your tangents too. That was amazing. That was really, really good shit to listen to. Good on you, Stephen Goss.
Get on with it.
But the 15% damage to minions and monsters, this was really, really heavily affecting mid lane. If your team got the second dragon at 12 minutes or so, all those minions that you were missing on a tower with like 1 shot, you were getting. And that the amount of them that come in mid lane is ridiculous. The amount of times that happens, that was really, really affecting mid lane, especially for people who don't play mid lane all that often, such as myself. So this was really, really changing up the map and changing up the way it goes on. One of the things that Riot hasn't wanted Dragon to affect the game so far is over the last season, they have really, really tried to put the emphasis down that Dragon was giving too much in the early game. It was giving too much, and it was changing lanes that weren't like top lane, was just being affected brutally by 1 dragon. Guess what? You've done that again. Great job, Rito. You've taken away the gold. That's fantastic. You've got tanks that are doing brutal amounts of bonus damage. I don't even...
Yeah, I mean, but the thing is, they can... I would really encourage people to go to listen to the Trinity Force episode where they talked with Ghost Caller, Roaming Numeral, and Cooper, basically 3 devs, and they talk about how the way they've done things is it gives them more things to adjust rather than just champions. So I think, if you just had gold, you say, okay, you either reduce the gold or increase or reduce it. That's. But here they've got 5 different things they can adjust, and they can tweak all of them. So I mean, I think they'll get the balance in the end. That. Yep.
I really, really like that they've added this in. The number tweaking that they're going to have to do is going to go on and on and on. We're not going to see a finished change on a dragon ever. Dragon is going to be constantly altered if it stays in this state, and I like that. That is really, really strong. It's just that right now they made so much of an effort to nerf the effect it was having on the top lane, when the top lane was having nothing to do with it. Before the teleport meta came in, when Ignite on Renekton, when there was still a lot of Ignite and stuff running on Renekton early in the season, they changed the dragon
before the teleport.
Exactly. So now this has come in, and this is... You get more stats in gold than you do gold from an early dragon. That's what's getting me. I would like to see the dragon buff ramp up with levels.
I do want to point something out, is that they are changing Dragon's Might. Like, the first dragon kill has been reduced from 8% to 6%. Now, that's not a massive deal, but when we're talking about the top laners specifically, like, that's if someone has 100 attack damage, that's going to 106, whereas previously it went to 108. But that's not entirely the case because of the way that leveling now works with the, when you get like 70% of your stat and then 71 and then 72 as you level up. So it's going to have less effect the earlier you take it in a laning matchup perspective, because, like, what's 6% of 70, like, it might give you a slight edge, but not as much as like 190 gold would have. So I think the earlier you get the dragon, the less of effect it'll have on the top lane. But after the first buy, it could have a tremendous impact. So
yeah,
I think that's going to be something that the casters specifically are going to have to look out for, because things might be happening in the top lane that they just don't understand for a while.
Yeah. And some on that note as well, the way this also changes top lane is you've gone from having the dragon was basically somewhat of I like to think of it as your potion gold. Because then you were focusing on your creeps, and whenever you got dragons, I would make sure I topped up on slightly extra potions, and I used that gold pool. I was thinking about that gold pool as my potion pool, and when we didn't get it, I bought less potions, and I played more defensively, and yeah, so now it's changed to a stat. It's not potionable. You can't just... Which is another interesting fact as well. The only way you can make use of it for healing is if you're running Spell Vamp, so you're Valamir, or... you're running Lifesteal. So you've also got to think about it along those lines as well. How does it change the healing and sustain of top laners? And you're right, early on, it's going to do nothing. But later on, it's going to be interesting. And games are going to be so one-sided as well until your team picks up its first dragon. Post-first dragon, it brings you... Like, the gap between the teams just goes... Oh, yeah, first dragon, not first dragon. It just goes... it just catches the teams up so much. That's the one trouble with percentage buffs on things. So
yeah, okay. I just wanted to go back to the tower situation. So we made mention that we're talking about towers. Steve? What's your view on how they could change them to make them different? I mean, I'm thinking they probably need to buff the damage, or I think maybe increase the ramp up, like buff the damage overall, but increase the ramp up time, or sorry, decrease the ramp up time, so it's a shorter ramp up. You probably could give them a bit more health as time goes on as well.
Well, it's actually quite tough, because if I was... See, I don't actually consider it a problem as such, more as something that players need to consider. So if a team is far enough behind, there's very, very little opportunity to come back. Like they can't just turtle anymore. They can't just say, "Well, we've got a tower on our side," because the tower's just it's gonna vanish. And even if it doesn't vanish, they're gonna be able to juggle it. So faster ramping up of like if it went like made like really cool laser noises, like like, and every time there was one of those sounds, the damage went up significantly. Sort of like the way that when you walk into the enemy nexus, you get the laser, and it just like shreds your HP so fast. If eventually it got up to that kind of speed, if it was just they didn't cap the damage on it, they just went, the longer you stay in the beam, the more damage you're going to take. So that way, players with CC and stuns and everything like that could be much better at turtling than, say, a poke champion would be. So that changes how compositions work. How tough they are is probably a good thing, because almost every single change that Riot have made with Dragon, with Baron, with towers, with even certain balance changes to champions, is they want the towers to fall. They want like the games to be really exciting, but they also don't want it to be okay, they got first dragon, GG. Like I don't think it's going to get to that, but the statistics are definitely leaning in that direction. That if you secure the first dragon, it has a tremendous effect on whether or not you win that game. More so now than in any seasons previously.
Oh, hell yeah. I mean, if you add up all the stats across 5 people, 8% across 5 people, you were getting 40% increased AD and AP, right? Across 5 people.
Yeah.
Now you're only getting 30%. So it is still a significant gap between the two teams. So.
All right, well, we got time for probably one question. There's actually 2 questions here, which we might save for a couple of weeks, because I think probably in 2 weeks' time we'll do a Christmas episode, the 22nd of December. So there's a question from Chris Green about changes to LoL, and also a question from Modbro about a tier list, that is things that changed that made you cry, and I've definitely got a big number one on that one for me. So we might save that for a couple of weeks. We do have another question from Modbro about, he says, this is on Twitter, will we ever see an Elixir of Ruin Voidgate Banner of Command build? So I'm guessing this is like a minion pushing thing. Will it most likely be on a solo top lane or support? So the relevant effects is essentially Elixir of Ruin gives you 15% bonus damage for any minions around you. Voidgate spawns minions. It's like 2,600 gold. It's like a structure that just keeps spawning minions. And then Banner of Command allows you to upgrade a siege minion on a regular wave. I'm thinking probably not, because you might as well just go get Baron buff and just destroy stuff anyway.
Yeah.
If you are gonna see it, it's going to be on a solo lane. Supports don't get enough gold.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I maybe like in a particular matchup, a Heimerdinger top, like, because we've seen it, it happens.
Damn it, Minky Whale!
Yeah, Minky Whale. Banner of Command is not a bad item just on its base stats. If you completely ignore the fact that it buffs minions, it's actually quite a strong item for one slot. You still want a lot of gold to be able to take advantage of it, and it's not an item that you'd be traditionally see on a burst mage or a sustain poker or whatever like that. It's a very niche item, and Elixir of Ruin's like chump change. Anyone can pick that up. So just those 2 items together, that can be a scary combination. And if the rest of the team composition wants to build itself around, taking Barons over the wall or whatever, or burning down Baron as fast as possible, then you could very much have just a complete push strategy based off that.
Can we see a double jungle, double void gate strategy? Sorry, 5 void gate strategy. I think this could actually work. And I would see... No, you'd 5 void gates and you'd go 3 banners of command. You wouldn't want any more than 3 banners of command. You probably only want the 2.
I gotta look at Void Gate more. Hang on a second.
Yeah.
Where is it?
So it's on the PB. For those of you who don't know, it's on the PB. It's 2,600 gold total. It's built out of a Raptor cloak and a Negatron cloak, and then 780 gold. It's 40 armor, 50 magic resistance.
Okay,
100% base. Hang on, let me finish.
We're not gonna see this item. We're never going to see this item. It's got Negatron cloak in it.
Yeah, but the Negatron cloak builds out of... So Negatron is built out of the, the null magic mantle.
Ah.
Yeah, they brought it back.
They brought it back.
Wow.
So 100% base MR regeneration. It's got the point runner, so basically get movement speed as you move towards turret or void gates. Then the unique active is spawns a gate at target location for 150 seconds. Every 4 seconds, the gate spawns a volatile voidling that travels down the nearest lane. These voidlings explode when attacking structures and will ignore champions. But I'm pretty sure it's actually a consumable. Oh no, the gates. So the gate it can be destroyed, but it's not permanent. Yeah.
Just attacks towers and ignores champions was me in the ARAM the other day. It's like, oh, you guys are tower diving? That's fun.
Yeah.
I'm over here.
It doesn't actually say how much.
At the item.
Yep.
I'm looking at the item here, and it's got armor and magic resist and health regen, but no actual HP on it. So I could see it, doubling up with other tanky items because this is not the one item you get for defense. Because there's probably just not enough in the way of stats. Like, it's got 40 armor and 50 magic resist with 100% base health reduction. Those are nice stats, but you're going to want HP as well. So I would imagine this would be a great item for Shen, giving him just an amazing amount of split push potential from things other than Sunfire Cape, while also working together with all of his base stats. Yep. But you wouldn't see him getting the other two items.
No.
So,
the Elixir of Ruin's probably not too bad for him because it's health.
Yeah.
So it's 250 health, 15, and then the bonus damage for minions. So that's actually probably a pretty good split pushing item.
Yeah, it is possible, but I don't know. Actually, I haven't played Shen on this patch, so I can't really comment. I haven't actually seen anyone play him on this current patch, so who knows. But I don't see Void Gate and Banner of Command syncing well just on an item synergy together. Maybe if you had you had Void Gate on your tanky jungler and Banner of Command on your mage, generic mage, like whether or not it's a really late game Janna or whether it's a solo emitter that just wanted to do something peculiar, or they didn't need mana regen or whatever, then we could see a team running strategies of this if they're really having trouble closing out the game. But I think they'd really seriously need to consider this is not going to happen until they buff towers, because this is not required to take down towers.
Yeah. I mean, it's actually, it's one of those items that if in the low level, the Void Gate, because essentially it spawns for 150 seconds, but it's got a 150 second cooldown. So essentially the gate can be destroyed, but it spawns a Voidling every 4 seconds. If you just leave it there, it's actually going to do a fair bit of damage over time, because it basically the Voidling gets blown up by towers, but it will go with the minions and be covered by the minions and then, blow up the structures. So it's quite interesting. I think it's one of those things that in low level play, when people don't know what it is, because it'll be very rarely used, I don't think you'll ever see it in pro play. I think it actually might be a bit of a free sort of little bit of fun. Just put it in some side lanes and then just push down mid.
Oh, I just realized that they changed Banner of Command so that it builds out of Aegis of the Legion and Fiendish Codex. Yep. I was going on the previous Banner of Command, so my numbers may not add up.
Yeah, okay.
But
it had some really, really nice CDR to actually a Legion, Banner, Aegis of the Legion, that one.
Yeah.
So it's a funky item. It's got a lot of stats whacked together.
It's not as good as it used to be. Still,
no.
When I gave armor, that was OP.
Yeah.
Gives magic resist cooldown reduction.
Yeah, a little bit of magic. I mean, 20 MR is not bad, I guess, but it's not
and health
stellar.
It gives magic resist and health regeneration in an aura, so it's still alright. And then it gives you it's just a really funky item. I don't think we'll ever see it at competitive level.
No. If you look at the stats, 200 health, 60 ability power, 20 magic resist, and 10% cooldown reduction, and ignore the active in aura, if you just look at the stats, that is not worth 3,000 gold. That's the Banner of Command price.
Yeah.
And you could build the Aegis of the Legion into something else and the Fiendish Codex into something else, and you'd probably get better value.
Yep.
But you wouldn't get the promote minion, which again you do not need. Towers are made of paper.
Yes, that's it.
Yep.
Get Baron buff. Baron buff is more worth your time. and does more damage.
Bring back season 2 Nuno.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, I think that probably. I don't think that we've got everything covered. Or we've talked about everything we're going to talk about for this week. I think we've spent about an hour talking. So, is there anything else you guys want to quickly bring up before we finish up? Any shout outs or anything?
Shout out to every team that's been competing in the OC Weekly and OCG tournaments. There was 140 teams on Saturday. The OCG staff were going crazy with the amount of stuff that was happening. At one stage, the in-game chat room broke down into a bunch of do and Illuminati. So it was hectic. It was crazy to handle. And please, to anyone that's listening that was a part of that, do not spam the chat with do and Illuminati. We get it. You guys have internet things, but we need to run a tournament. But it was just fantastic. OC Weekly. I'll grab the numbers right now.
We should actually make mention the ACL Open is on tomorrow, and the Cyber Game Open is on Wednesday and Thursday. So, though Derek
106.
Yeah. Okay.
106 teams. Wow, this is like amazing. What has happened over the last, was it 18 months? It's almost 18 months now that Riot has actually been in Australia.
Yep. Excellent. All right. Well, I think with that pretty much wraps up all of episode 67 of the OzLoL podcast.
Oh, actually, I've got some shout outs.
Oh, go for it.
Yeah, I want to shout. Never got around to me. I was waiting, but no, I want to shout out to Victor Pradley, and he has earned my respect. That is.
Whoa.
Yeah, no, because he sent me 2 mystery skins with a message demanding that I give him respect. And yep, those mystery skins did it.
Okay.
So Victor has my respect, and a shout out to Tribal Mind, who's having particular problems with League of Legends at the moment. He's not able to log on at the moment. So we love you. We hope you get into game again very soon.
Yeah.
Also, a shout out to Tribal Mind. Me and him did the Cogmore Champion rundown the other day, so it'll be released soon.
Cool.
Excellent.
I'll make sure you check that out. All right. Well, don't forget Battle Arena this Thursday from 7 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, Daylight Saving Time. And yeah, check out our website, OzLoL.TrinityForcePodcast.com. Thanks for joining us. This has been episode 67. We'll be back again next week.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.